Coming up on this episode of the Peppinion, do you think you have what it takes to help you through these obstacle courses and colorize this world? Here we go. Hello, viewers. I've played Die about 2 hours now, and it's a platforming game. A very difficult and sometimes infuriating platforming game, but I'll get to that. I don't think the game is particularly trying to anger me, but it succeeded. I would also like to point out my death counter here. It's over 300. It is not an easy game. I have died so many times trying to just beat the first level. It's ridiculous. All of the dying, so many deaths, so many stupid and simple deaths. Foolish, completely my fault. But I would like to start off with what I really love about the game, and that's the world. The world is really interesting, and the levels start off in grayscale. And yeah, all right, grayscale, right? How interesting is that? But, I mean, there are some really interesting black and white photos, and I think that this world, while it looks in black and white, is still very clear, and you can see exactly what's going on, so that doesn't hurt the game any. And colorizing the world by collecting the pigments really makes the game more enjoyable. It is much more fun to play trying to succeed in coloring the world. Nobody wants to live in a black and white world, you know? I mean, you will be in a black and white world in this game if you don't collect the pigments and you suck, so that might be discouraging. But if you don't suck and you can collect the pigments, you will colorize the world, and it gets more interesting. Like, even the hub areas get more colored as you collect the various pigments. I think it's a very interesting and cool mechanic to do. And it makes me really care about the world more. I really liked it. And it's like the level keeps the pigments that you collect too when you go back in. So you feel the progress as you go. You actually are accomplishing something. Another really important part of the game is controls. You have a wall slide. It lasts only a few seconds, and you'll slip off, and then you'll probably end up in some spikes. So you really need to be super precise. I mean, the game is about difficult levels and precision. There are hard modes for each level, so having perfect controls is really important. And 90% of these controls, I think they did it. There is some floating you can do. I haven't used it too much. That's probably why I die so much. I bet if I used the floating more, it just doesn't seem like you need it that much, but you can float. One of the issues I have with the controls, actually, so that I said at 90%, the extra 10% is landing. So there is a challenge level I ran into where you needed to land on like a one-sized block, basically. And sometimes when you're moving left or right, I think all the time really, but when you're moving left and right and you jump and you're still moving and you land, you carry some of the momentum that you had with you on the ground, and so you'll slide. And so if you just jump straight and then try and land on a block, you'll slide right off it. You need to jump up, look the other way so it stops your momentum, and then you can land. I think that while small, it is kind of annoying. And that's the part, that challenge level with those jumps when I was sliding off, that's when I was yelling at the screen. I was mad. I was, freaking game. Why don't you just let me land on the freaking block? I expect some sort of stickiness. And I was just getting kind of frustrated. I guess if that's the mechanic, to jump and then look the other way and land so you don't have momentum, that's the game, right? So it's probably my fault for being bad, but that is something I think you should just be aware of. I don't think it's a showstopper. I am kind of quick to anger at that stuff. So overall, I mean, really, it's a mild annoyance. With enough practice, you'll get good at landing, and that's a challenge level, so of course it was going to be very challenging, and it was, no doubt. This game is really hard, super hard. You know what else is a good sign in a game? Boss battles. I think that it's obvious when a developer doesn't care about the game and then they just kind of rush through and make the levels and everything like that. And this game has a lot of very well placed out levels. So I think level randomization is getting a little too right now. It's just too much. People are relying too heavily on the random generation. And this game has very well laid out levels. It's nice to play. I mean, everything obviously was well spaced and requires extreme precision. So it's good that they took the time to create these levels and include boss battles. Now, the boss battle I fought was against several vultures that needed to shoot projectiles at you, and you needed to make sure to try and align those projectiles to hit the vulture's back. They bounce around because Hugh doesn't shoot. He's a pacifist. So you need to use their own projectiles against them. And that was very difficult and generally very fun, actually, because I just kind of like that challenge. It's like a one-room challenge, and it felt very good, and I was very accomplished after beating it. It really puts like a cap on the purple world when you're beating it, and I like that. I think boss battles are important and a sign of good progress, and that the developer cares and created a nice game that they want you to beat. But I think that's that. I mean, do you enjoy super hard platforming with an option for even more difficult platforming? Those challenge levels and the hard mode of levels is ridiculous. It is so hard. Those difficult levels, the hard version of a level, no checkpoints in the level, and more spikes and things to kill you. So I don't even know how you're gonna do it. Good luck. You have to be so good at video games. So yeah, there's just so much content here. It's super difficult. Tons of content. 4 worlds. You know, and each of them have levels and then split into more harder modes and challenge levels and boss battles. Tons of content. Really well done. Just that little bit with the controls. If you can overlook that, I think you should definitely check this out. It took me 2 hours to beat the first world, and I didn't 100% it. So you can kind of guesstimate how long it would take you to beat this, unless you're amazing. And I'm not. So on a scale of 1 to woo, this game is good. And I think you should check it out if you meet any of the criteria I have listed previous to now. So if you watched this far, thank you very much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye. Hello. That was a fantastic video, right? Thumbs up.